All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus. Combine draft. It's fair to say the draft is in full swing. So we're going to be doing a weekly show. Vikings latest draft buzz, news, nuggets, whatever you want to call it. Just Vikings draft talk.
Yeah, we're collecting Vikings draft nuggets all throughout the week. I have compiled a list of them, and I even broke it down into categories. We're going to go over every single one of those. Onebar, what is your favorite thing to collect?
I like baseball cards. Unfortunately, I'm probably a little too old for that, but I still do it.
Don't you ever apologize for something you love. And also, if you guys love the show, subscribe, like, and comment as well. We're on our way to 12K by Draftway. We're so close to 11K. You can smell it.
Is that what you're going for? Like, what do I collect? I was supposed to say subscribers.
No, it was going to be. I knew you were going to say baseball cards.
All right, let's do this. And if we miss on any draft nuggets, by all means, put them in the comments. We're only 48 away from 11,000 subs. Hit the sub.
Yeah. So again, I kind of categorize these into, I think it's 3 categories. The first one is just other teams in the top 3. And I'm going to actually read all these together because they're all pretty similar in nature. So according to Patriots beat reporter from the Boston Herald, the Patriots are most likely to find their next quarterback with the 3rd overall pick. They later say they are also interested in Baker Mayfield, but have not yet shown interest in Kirk Cousins. There's another one that says the Commanders and Patriots are weighing the possibility of acquiring draft capital over selecting a franchise quarterback. That was from Ian Rappaport. And there was another report saying the Patriots are leaning heavily toward keeping pick 3 and drafting a quarterback. That was from Jeff P. Howe. So 3 different reports talking about these teams in the top 3 staying there and making picks and taking quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't believe any of it. More so like Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. I think that's fair to say they're going to be like 1 and 2 at this point. Drake May, right now at least, seems to kind of be the odd man out. Even JJ McCarthy getting into the talk of being that top 3 quarterback. If Washington or New England gets a deal, they're getting the hell out of there. You can't believe this. No way in hell.
I don't know. I think it's just so rare to be in that position and actually have 3 like franchise caliber quarterbacks sitting there. I don't think it happens very often. So I'm actually tending to believe it. And if I was one of those teams, I would stick and pick too. Because getting that quarterback is so hard to do. In other years, you got to give up the farm to do it. When you're in a position where you suck and it's sitting there, you need it. I think just do it and build around that.
The only thing with that is, and I think that it's pretty common, like when there's drafts, there's usually 2 or 3. This isn't like the unicorn draft where all of a sudden there's 3 quarterbacks. Oh my God, there's 3 quarterbacks. And really there's 4 now.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't anything crazy, but I think the Washington and I think the Patriots are going to suck next year regardless. And they could be in a position to have that number 1 pick, the number 2 pick. It's not like this is their only chance. Like they want draft capital. They could do what the Bears did last year, get another first, what ends up being another early first. So if I'm a fan of those teams, I would actually be more excited to trade out of that thing and just maybe get a quarterback next year along with more first-round picks.
I think what makes it a bit of a unicorn is that I don't know other years where there's been the top 3 teams also all have huge needs at quarterback. There's always seems to be one that has that quarterback in place. So this year, I think that's a little bit different where all 3 have a desperate need to get that franchise quarterback.
Yeah, no, we will see. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they all end up 1, 2, 3, keep their picks. I won't be surprised one damn bit if it's only the Bears that take Caleb Williams, the other 2 trade out. I'd be surprised.
Well, you're right. Though it's March, you can't believe anything you hear at this point. This is why these are rumors. This is why this is draft buzz. And this is why I'm taking our sip to make sure my draft buzz keeps going tonight.
Jaden Daniels, though, man, yeah, everything you're hearing about him, like some teams having him as that number 1 quarterback. I can't wait. I'm so excited for this draft. It's so early, but like,
oh my God, you're visibly excited. I can see it from here.
Nothing is solidified. Caleb Williams, 1 to the Bears, probably, but like,
for sure,
everything. I mean, we don't even know what the Chargers are doing. The Cardinals. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so next category is just random nuggets and notes. I've been hoarding like a squirrel before winter. Tony Pauline said this about defensive tackle Byron Murphy. He was the most physically impressive defender at the combine, and he is still hearing Vikings at 11. The Vikings did meet with him at the combine.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings also met with Caleb Williams. So I don't care who they're meeting with. And the thing with Byron Murphy is everybody knew going into the combine he was going to test well. He was going to look good. I want to see an NFL offensive lineman lined up opposite him. Then if he does good, then that's something that's worth talking about. I don't give a shit. I'm not a Byron Murphy guy.
I know you're not. The only thing I think is interesting about this is just the fact, like, Vikings, like Byron Murphy, they liked, like, the first draft, Kwesi fell in love with Lewis Cine. Like, he realized early this was his guy. He was going to get him. He figured out where he could get him, and he maneuvered the draft to get his guy. So the only thing I'm kind of taking on this is, I mean, Byron Murphy, is he that guy? I doubt it with all the quarterbacks, that the Vikings are interested in, and then that's such a huge need, especially if Kirk Cousins does it. I'm going to Atlanta, something like that. But again, Kwesi does have some history of finding his guy and then just making sure he gets his guy.
Yeah, but wasn't the Lewis Cine, like, the fact that it was his guy? It didn't come out till afterwards. Like, we didn't know.
But maybe so I'm using that to read into this.
Well, also, I mean, if you look at last year, who was the Vikings guy last year? It was Will Levis. They loved Will Levis. No, all the reports the month before the draft were how much they loved him. They met with him at the combine. They wanted this guy so bad, passed on him. Didn't want nothing to do with him.
Yeah, I have to see those again. I don't remember that, but
yeah, no, they met with him. All the talk was they were talking about trading up for Will Levis. Didn't happen. I think there's legitimate love towards Byron Murphy because it's an obvious need. It better be us trading back to get him.
I agree with that. So apparently, according to Ian Rappaport, Michael Penix Jr.'s medicals came back extremely positive. Extremely positive.
I love that. I love it. I mean, usually it's so easy to say, like, the other side of it. It's like, oh man, it was as bad as I thought. So for a guy that's been through so many injuries, for them to actually take the time to say it was positive, I think is a huge, beautiful, beautiful sign for Michael Penix.
When I was surprised, like, you were hearing this now. Usually the news about the medicals doesn't come out till the Monday of the draft, the Monday of draft week. So any news coming about medicals to me was a little bit surprising. But yeah, great news from Michael Penix Jr. If he ends up, Vikings do go with an edge rusher at 11, and he's sitting there at 42. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sling it. Even if you're not a Penix guy, the thought of getting him at 42, which would be the pick, like, we're not taking him at 11, right? I mean, if we get him at 42, any quarterback, even if it's Bo Nix, who I don't even like, I'm going to be super excited about.
Absolutely. All right, so there's another rumor. Vikings, Raiders, and Giants are all interested in trading up for a top 3 pick, also from Ian Rappaport. So the Vikings have some competition as far as moving up in the draft.
Yeah, I think they got a lot of competition. I mean, even I would throw the Broncos in there.
I'm surprised they weren't in this.
Yeah, so the Raiders?
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if you saw Antonio Pierce. He said something about how he's aggressive and he gets what he wants. So coming from the head coach,
I know that firsthand.
Yeah, he got you. So yeah, there's definitely some teams. I mean, the Giants are in front of the Vikings, but you mentioned the Broncos, teams behind the Vikings that could definitely move up to get their quarterback.
So right now, is the Raiders quarterback only Farva? Like, who do they have? They're getting rid of Garoppolo. I mean, who do they have on them?
There might be some other scuds there, but that's.
I'm just surprised. Like, you'd think a defensive-minded coach, rookie. I mean, you think you'd just go full on defense. So to go up there and get a quarterback,
have a quarterback.
They don't have one. I'm on the same page there. But yeah, I wouldn't think the Raiders would do it. But yeah, so Raiders and Giants. So Giants was still Daniel Jones. God, I'm already nervous right now, and it's only beginning of March.
I know. You're gonna love this next one. Several scouts. Actually, I'm gonna tie 2 of these together.
Does that have anything to do with Braden Fisk?
No.
He's awesome.
I'm gonna do 2 of these together. So there's several scouts who have quarterback Spencer Rattler ranked ahead of Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. And then Brett Coleman from Underdog Draft said this about the quarterbacks. He says JJ's 4, Nix would be 5, and it wouldn't shock him if both Jordan Travis and Spencer Rattler went ahead of Michael Penix. He said both of those guys could go in round 2, and Penix he could see falling into the 3rd or later.
Wow. Well, I mean, look at how many times this happened. I mean, Will Levis last year goes to round 2. Nobody thought he was getting past top 10. You and myself included. You look at Malik Willis. I mean, you were really big on the Malik Willis train. I mean,
Exciting.
Choo. I mean, where'd he go? Round 3? And guess what?
4, I think.
Whatever he went, and he's bad. He's not even good.
He's Malik Willis.
I'm just saying, like, one, two, at least 1 or 2 of these guys will probably go in like round 3 or round 4 because it happens every damn year, and everybody will just look like morons. So yeah, Spencer Rattler, ick.
I didn't see how he did today. Did he throw well? Did he run well? What did he do?
You know what? Honestly, when it came to quarterbacks, I was so enamored by Joe Milton just throwing the thing 3,000 yards. I didn't even care what else. But no, I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen if they've thrown. But man, those guys over Penix, God, that would suck. If the Vikings took Rattler at like 42.
I actually like Jordan Travis, but Rattler I don't like. But again, you said it, like, you just never know, and that's the draft. Like, guys will fall, and you're shocked, but we're hearing rumors about it already. So let's talk about a few guys the Vikings have met with. I know we've already talked about some, but at the Hula Bowl and the Shrine Bowl, the Vikings met with defensive tackle from Northern Iowa, Christian Boyd. Also met with Penn State edge rusher Adisa Isaac and Washington edge Braylon Trice. What do you think about those 3?
Yeah, Braylon Trice, he's going to be an interesting one as far as where he goes. I mean, I could actually see him coming off the board way earlier than expected. Those edge rushers are always way up in the air. Who are the other ones?
Adisa Isaac and Christian Boyd, who's expected to be a day 3 pick, kind of a big old boy from Northern Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, Isaac I like. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know a ton about Boyd at all. But Isaac, I like him.
Well, and the thing with Brandon Trice, it's going to be really interesting to see where he ends up now. He dropped like 20 pounds, and he didn't really work out well. So
yeah, what was his 40? It wasn't bad.
Nothing was good. Like, he was never an athlete. Like, that was never his thing. Like, he was always just this power dude who won by his power, won by his quickness. But moving side to side, straight line speed was never exactly his cup of tea. He drops 20 pounds and still doesn't work out well. Our buddy over there at Hail Mary Sports, he said he's a day 3 guy now. But he's a little extreme. He goes a little to the extreme.
But again, it happens every year. Big names fall, and everybody's wondering why. And it's in round 2, he's still there. Like, holy shit, let's get him around to round 3. Why isn't anybody taking me still at round 4? Oh my God, he's still there. And they just go like undrafted, and nobody knows why.
Yeah, it's wild. Again, that's why we love the NFL draft. 2 more in the random category. According to M4 Sports, the Vikings covet 2 edge players and will go that route if they can't trade up for a quarterback, as the teams ahead of the Vikings are asking a lot in a potential to move up.
Yeah, no, I saw that. And it's got to be Turner and Verse. I mean, watching Latu, to me at the combine, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's probably gonna be fantastic. It was just weird. Like, he just was like very stiff, and like the way he ran was goofy. And when
he almost like frolics, he does this kind of
I mean, maybe it's a good thing. Like, a Latu for me, I'm kind of out on the Latu unless we trade back. But the big thing I take out of this is it sounds like it's either quarterback or edge or bust for the Vikings. So like Terrion Arnold, the cornerback, and when you think of the Byron Murphys, think of the defensive lineman, it sounds like it's quarterback or edge, and that's it. And it probably will be that.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it feels like. And speaking of quarterback, projected top 3 pick quarterback Jaden Daniels was thoroughly impressed with Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell in their formal meeting at the Combine this week. And that was from Doogie Wolfson.
Yeah, and every quarterback was. J.J. McCarthy was talking up the Vikings. Penix was talking up the Vikings. Jaden Daniels, like you said, we're talking up the Vikings. They're talking about, I mean, asking who they could. McCarthy, I mean, he was raving about the Vikings. Who's the one receiver you want to throw to? Oh, Justin Jefferson.
Everybody said that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Vikings were kind of the talk when it came to any quarterback prospect. So they're smart. They're like, come on, Vikings. They're smart. They want them to trade up and get them because they know all the offensive weapons they have. They're very, very smart. They don't want the Raiders to trade up for them.
Yeah, who wants to go to Las Vegas and play for the Raiders?
Ick. Nobody. But yeah, that was fantastic. Fantastic.
All right, and the last category is JJ McCarthy. A lot of news and nuggets regarding the Vikings and JJ McCarthy. I'm going to lump 3 together and then do one at the end here. So JJ McCarthy said this about his meeting with the Vikings. Coach O'Connell led the whole thing. Everything they talked about, wanting another quarterback, aligns with what I want. just being able to get on the board with them, go through their plays was special. So actually, I'm going to leave that one first because their two are kind of similar. So again, another quarterback being thoroughly impressed with Kevin O'Connell. That's good, right? That's good. He's a recruiter. He's recruiting right now.
Well, yeah, and I think any quarterback will always be impressed and happy to talk to Kevin O'Connell, who was a former NFL quarterback, opposed to talking to, I don't know,
Antonio Pierce,
Eberflus, or who the hell's? I mean,
yeah.
like, I think they talk the same language. They get excited. Kevin O'Connell's probably getting excited. He's still a young buck, so yeah, I totally get it. He should be excited.
He should be. And I have no doubt that Kevin O'Connell did excite him with his quarterback speak. These two are very similar. This is per Ben Standing of The Athletic and also Ian Rappaport. Some NFL teams evaluators say that J.J. McCarthy is going higher in the draft than people think. J.J. is going to go higher than most people think. Right now, my guess is he'll be in play at pick 2 or 3. And Ian Rappaport follows it up to saying J.J. McCarthy's stock is improving rapidly and could be a top 3 pick now.
Yeah, Drake May should be a little concerned at this point. I mean, he didn't do anything except for met with teams down at the combine and you know, whatever. He's obviously going to have his pro day, but McCarthy was out there. He was out there slinging it. And he looked good at the combine. He looked good at everything he was doing. I can only imagine how much he killed it. So again, like we said right at the beginning, are we going to believe any of this stuff? Who knows? But I think it's definitely valid. I mean, right now, for how much we didn't want J.J. McCarthy a month ago, neither of us wanted him. We were like on the cusp, like, do we even want him in round 2? Right now, if we just we were.
I said I need to watch more. That's what I said.
I'm just all I'm saying.
I didn't want him at 11, but it was
at that point, you and I still weren't excited of the thought of getting him in round 2. So like the thought of just like not even having to trade up for him and get him at 11, I think we'll both be very happy.
I've come so far. Like I'm actually a JJ McCarthy sympathizer. Did you watch him throw today?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I thought it was like a mixed bag, right? There was good throws, there was bad throws, but it's always hard to tell with the timing and stuff. What was your takeaway from that?
My takeaway is like when it comes to the combine and throwing, you're throwing the receivers that you've never thrown to before. So I don't really give a shit. I think the combine mostly is just about meeting with the teams and how you do on the chalkboard. Like he looked fine. But it's not like I'm expecting him to go out there and have a perfect throw every time. And that goes for every quarterback.
Well, it was weird because I also felt like some of the receivers were maybe not running the route right.
And the receivers, for all the quarterbacks today, it seemed like the receivers kind of sucked at catching the ball.
It was weird.
Like even the effort at times was just like, it didn't seem like even really wanted to catch that.
The 2 takeaways I feel very confident about. Actually, there's 3. That Kentucky quarterback is ass. Sam Hartman throws fucking weird, and he's gorgeous, but he's
good-looking man.
He's a good-looking man, and Joe Milton can fricking sling the ball.
It was funny. The Kentucky quarterback, though, I can't even remember his name. I'm embarrassed. Was actually getting a lot of love for his ball.
I thought he was fucking. His deep ball was disgusting. It wasn't even close.
I'm just saying I was surprised for how the accolades he was getting.
I think he was good at like the 15-yard out. That's what he excelled at, but his deep ball was disgusting. We got one more.
The combine wise, throwing it, I don't know. It's a tough one because they're throwing at dudes they'd never even thrown to before.
Well, and it's funny. So I went on Twitter right after J.J. McCarthy threw, and there was some negative people and there were some positives. But Pete Schrager, a guy I trust because he knows how Kay Adams smells. He said this about J.J. McCarthy. He went out there, competed, and threw the ball very, very well. I got a text from an NFL evaluator, very respected one, saying of all these guys, McCarthy translate to the NFL the most. Then he says he had an outstanding day out there.
Yeah, no, I can't argue that. I mean, Schragg's last couple of years is when it comes to predictions on draft day, it's been fairly off. But he is in the know. He is in the know, and I think
he's got evaluators for teams texting.
Yeah, I know, but he always says that. That's kind of his thing. Like, I was talking to whatever, but McCarthy. I think he's absolutely in the conversation to be the 3rd quarterback off the board.
That's crazy.
I never thought I'd say it.
It's May, right? Drake May has to be the one who would get bumped down, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be May. And the crazy part is if May starts falling, like we're like after pick 3, Cardinals, Harrison. I mean, Chargers would probably be looking to trade out if one of those guys is still on the board. But I mean,
Yep.
it could get very interesting.
Absolutely, it could. So that is your draft news dump of the week.
I got one more.
Ooh,
Jalen Coker looked pretty good out there. He looked pretty good.
Yeah, no shit. No shit.
He looked good. There were some receivers that looked very, very good. That lad McCarthy, holy shit. He's good. I think he's going to be fantastic. He looks so good. A lot of those receivers look good. A lot of those tight ends look good. That Theo Johnson from Penn State, hot damn, he looked good. Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Absolutely. Combine will make some people look great, make some look like fools.
Braden Fisk, dude's going to be, if he might go round one.
Oh, there's just dudes who are nailing this whole entire draft season process. Braden Fisk
he nailed his whole Florida State career.
Well, Quinion Mitchell's another one who's just nailing this thing. So we'll see what those guys end up. But definitely guys who are there's just guys every year who just absolutely excel in the draft season. And those are two that you named. All right, let's remember this. What you guys are thinking about the draft buzz regarding the Minnesota Vikings. Justin Timberlake is the voice behind McDonald's. I'm loving it.